Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. World leaders faithful bid farewell to Pope Francis as funeral service draws to a close. President Draupadi Murmu pays last respects to His Holiness. UNSC condemns Pahalgam terrorist attack, refers incident as a reprehensible act of terrorism. 3 more houses of LET terrorists demolished in 3 districts of South Kashmir. Massive explosion rocks Shahid Rajai port in southern Iranian city of Bandar Abbas. At least 115 injured. Third round of U.S Iran nuclear talks gets underway in Oman. After White House fiasco, U.S. President Donald Trump meets his Ukrainian counterpart Zelenskyy in Rome. Washington calls meeting very productive. World leaders, including India's President Draupadi Murmu, US President Donald Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron, joined over 200,000 mourners at St. Peter's Square to pay their last tributes to Pope Francis. President Draupadi Murmu, accompanied by Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Kiran Rijiju, attending Pope's funeral on behalf of India. Hundreds of thousands of Catholic faithful packed the site to bid farewell to the pontiff. Pope Francis died on 21st of April from heart failure following a stroke at the age of 88. All right, and let's take you across to Vatican City live. And the coffin of Pope Francis could be seen here, could be seen leaving the Vatican. It is flanked by motorbikes as it heads into Rome on its way to the Pope's final resting place. Today, the world bids farewell to Pope Francis, a leader who touched millions of hearts with the message of compassion, love, humility, and in fact charmed the world by his humble attitude and of course concern for the poor. Large crowds have lined up as the late Pope Francis goes to his final resting place. The world leaders condoled the passing away of Pope Francis, as he was known for his love, compassion, humility, and of course concerns for the poor. These are the live visuals that we are getting from you from Vatican City. He was known for his simple lifestyle and deep commitment to social justice. He worked tirelessly to bring the people together, focused on the poor, the marginalized, and of course the environment. He indeed was a bridge builder across faiths, cultures and nations as he goes for his final resting place. The world leaders have gathered in the Vatican City to pay tributes to Pope Francis. Crowds have lined up as they see Pope Francis going to his final resting place. Today, indeed, is a moment to honor a life devoted to service, humility, and love. Well, that was live from Vatican City. And now, in response to the recent Pahalgam terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir, security forces have intensified operations across Anantnag district. The Anantnag police, working closely with the army, CRPF and other agencies, have launched widespread search and cordon operations to dismantle terror networks. Multiple raids have been carried out at various locations across Anantnag, with day and night search operations underway. 3 more houses of LET terrorists have been demolished in 3 districts of South Kashmir on Saturday, who are suspected to have involved in Pahalgam attack. Official sources confirm that a house belonging to terrorist Ehsan ul Haq Sheikh of Moran, Pulwama was demolished late on Friday night. Similarly, in Kulgam, the house of terrorist Zakir Ahmad Ghania, who is active since 2023, was destroyed in Matlhama. In Shopian, house of another terrorist, Shahid Ahmad Kutte, was also destroyed in Chotipora. He is active since 2002. Earlier on Friday, houses of 2 terrorists, Asif Ahmad Sheikh Tral and Adil Toker, were demolished after their involvement in Pahalgam attack came to fore. Houses of 3 more terrorists have been razed down by the security forces since yesterday. DD India correspondent Vishal Baristo brings you this report from the house of Lashkar terrorist in Chotopora in Shopian.
I am here in Shopian. This is the house of Shahid Ahmad Kutte, son of Muhammad Yusuf Kutte. As you can see, it has been razed down by the security forces. It is not the only house. 5 houses of the terrorists in different parts of Kashmir have been razed down, and Shahid has been missing. Shahid Kutte is one of the wanted Lashkar terrorists, and he has been active, according to sources, since 2023. The building, the house has been razed down, a clear message to all the terrorists and their handlers across the border that Indian government is not going to take things lightly. Here you see some of the clothes, the bricks, the roof. It was an RCC roof that has been brought down. Security forces and the intelligence agencies are working night and day to dig out every possible connect with the Pahalgam killing. Though Shahid is not said to be connected with Pahalgam, but certainly he is one of the Lashkar terrorists, and maybe he must have helped the larger network, the nefarious design of Pakistan from across the border. And there you see the design slowly but very promptly being broken, being devastated by the security forces of India. With cameraman Mohit Uike in Shopian, this is Vishal Baristo, DD India.
India's Home Minister Amit Shah on Friday held a meeting on how swiftly the decision to hold Indus Water Treaty in abeyance could be implemented and finalized a detailed roadmap. A day after India formally communicated to Pakistan that it was keeping Indus Water Treaty between the 2 countries in abeyance, the meeting was attended by Jal Shakti Minister C.R. Patil and senior officials. Meeting discussed implementation modalities in view of creating additional water storage infrastructure and speeding up work on hydropower projects as medium and long-term measures so that waters of the western rivers, Indus, Jhelum and Chenab can be adequately used by India. Desilting of rivers and dams will be done on priority. It will augment supply of water to India's side, resulting in slightly lesser flow to Pakistan, which already faces a deficit of 32% in meeting its irrigation and drinking water needs.
ये जो हत्या हुई है धर्म पूछ के हुई है, ये अत्यंत गंभीर प्रकार का एक काम हुआ है, निर्मम हत्या है, पूरा देश कभी नहीं भूलेगा। अभी उनके साथ कोई भी संधि आज तक हुई होगी उस सभी संधि को रद्द कर देना चाहिए, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। सरकार ने जो अभी जल संधि को रद्द कर दी है, एक अच्छा डिसीजन लिया है।
The UN Security Council has strongly condemned the deadly terrorist attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam, calling for accountability and international cooperation to bring the perpetrators to justice. In a statement, Council members expressed their deepest sympathy and condolences to the families of the victims as well as to the government of India and Nepal. Ambassadors reaffirmed that terrorism in all its forms and manifestations constitutes one of the most serious threats to international peace and security. They stressed that the perpetrators, organizers, financiers and sponsors must be held accountable and brought to justice. Anger against Pakistan is growing in Nepal over the Pahalgam terror attack, which also killed one Nepali national. In Kathmandu, members of the Rashtriya Prajatantra Party marched through the streets holding banners condemning Pakistan's support for terrorism. Various organizations including Nepali Nagrik Abhiyan and Nagrik Yuva Shakti Nepal also staged protests near the Pakistan embassy in Kathmandu on Saturday. According to sources, protesters handed over a note to Pakistan embassy condemning the terrorist attack and demanding that Pakistan stop supporting terrorism. A candlelight vigil was held in Auckland to honor the lives lost and those affected by the recent terror attack in Kashmir.
Even oceans away, in this moment of collective grief, people far away from their homeland in Auckland led this peaceful candle vigil, praying for the departed souls and proving that distances will never dim our solidarity.
Bharat Mata Ki Jai!
In Australia, Indian diaspora held a march to protest against the Pahalgam terrorist attack. In Copenhagen, the Indian diaspora members also paid tributes to the innocent lives lost in the Pahalgam terrorist attack. Indian community across the world condemned the April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack and paid tributes to victims of the barbaric attack. The Consulate General of India in Edinburgh held a solemn remembrance ceremony in memory of those killed in Pahalgam terrorist attack. The members of the Indian community in Scotland gathered in solidarity with India against the scourge of terrorism. The Indian diaspora members also observed a moment of silence, prayed and paid tributes to the innocent lives lost in the Pahalgam terrorist attack. In Germany, Embassy of India in Berlin also organized an event on Friday in memory of the loss of innocent lives in Pahalgam terror attack. Indian Ambassador to Germany, Ajit Gupte, addressed the gathering and offered heartfelt tributes to the victims. Meanwhile, Pakistani army troops violated ceasefire again along the line of control in Kashmir for the second consecutive day today. According to the Indian Army, on the intervening night of April 25 and 26, unprovoked small firing was carried out by multiple Pakistan Army posts all across the LOC. The Indian Army retaliated appropriately to firing with small arms. There were no reports of any casualties so far. In the state of Gujarat, police have detained over 500 illegal nationals from Ahmedabad and Surat for allegedly residing in India using forged documents. The sweeping operation, which took place in early hours of Saturday, was led by multiple enforcement units and local police teams. Officials confirmed that all detainees lacked valid documentation and had used falsified papers to settle in India. In Surat, a coordinated overnight combing operation led to the detention of more than 100 illegal Bangladeshi nationals. Meanwhile, a parallel operation was launched in Ahmedabad around 3 a.m., where over 450 individuals were detained. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. Russia and Ukraine are very close to reaching a deal to end conflict, says US President Trump. Congo and Rwanda agreed to draft a peace agreement by May 2nd. North Korea launches new multi-purpose destroyer warship equipped with the most powerful weapons.
You already dance to Bollywood music at weddings. Now imagine the whole world dancing to our stories too. World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit Waves is where we make Indian entertainment truly international. तो जल्दी तैयार हो जाइए दुनिया को अपनी धुन पर नचाने के लिए. बस 7 दिन और.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and his US counterpart Donald Trump met briefly on Saturday in Rome on the sidelines of Pope Francis's funeral. The meeting marked their first face-to-face encounter since their disastrous Oval Office meeting. The White House called Saturday's Trump-Zelenskyy meeting very productive. It also comes at a critical time in negotiations aimed at ending the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Earlier on Friday, US President Donald Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff met Russian President Vladimir Putin for 3 hours in Moscow to discuss the US plan to end the conflict in Ukraine. Trump said the two sides were very close to a deal despite apparent differences in their positions. In a social media post, Trump stated that it was a good day of talks and called for a high-level meeting between Kiev and Moscow to close a deal. He also mentioned that most key points have been agreed upon and urged an immediate end to the bloodshed. Fresh efforts are underway to revive nuclear diplomacy between the United States and Iran as top negotiators began third round of talks on Saturday in Muscat. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and US Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff are engaging in indirect negotiations through Omani mediators. Talks include a technical level meeting between experts from both sides with a larger aim at drafting a framework for a deal to limit Tehran's nuclear activities. Tehran is willing to negotiate some curbs on its nuclear work in return for the lifting of sanctions. However, ending or surrendering its enriched uranium stockpile are among Iran's non-negotiables. And DD India's Jessica Taneja joins us live on this. Hi Jessica, after the second round of talks, both nations described the talks as positive. Third round of talks today with a lot at stake. The talks, in fact, have the potential to reshape regional and global security. What can we expect this time?
Right, as you pointed out, this time they're going to be discussing the technicalities of the deal that is to be reached with Iran. Remember, it was Donald Trump who wrote to Ayatollah Khomeini, the supreme leader of Iran, just about a month ago, talking about how they want to reach a deal with Iran as soon as possible to find a peaceful solution to this. And it was him back in 2018 that had scrapped the JCPOA, or the Joint Commission Plan of Action, on the deal that was signed by the Obama administration in 2015. Now, when we talk about the technicalities that are to be discussed by the two teams, as you said, the United States being represented by Steve Witkoff and Iran by the foreign minister Abbas Araghchi. So the details that we are expecting from that to be fleshed out today would particularly stick to the points where what is to be done about the sanctions on Iran, and secondly, what about restrictions, especially when it comes to Iran's nuclear program and a term limit to that. Now, if you'd recall, the one in 2015, the JCPOA that we talked about, expires in October 2025. It had a term limit of 10 years. Perhaps, pardon me, 20 years. And with this, this is the point of contention that Trump had raised in 2018, that this is, you cannot have, a term limit to this, because according to him, Iran cannot be trusted to further develop its nuclear program to the effect where it could see more weapons in the country. So the demand on the United States side right now for this deal is that Iran completely dismantle its nuclear program. Earlier there were talks about the US officials indicating that Iran could have a limited nuclear program where it could use the nuclear fuel for enrichment to the effect where it could be used for civil energy purposes. But the trust deficit between the two, and you've seen the reactions from the Iranian side, the Iranian foreign minister pointing out to the effect that red lines cannot be crossed by the United States, and it cannot use threatening language against Iran. So definitely a very contentious moment, and the technicalities, as I pointed out, are going to be discussed, and what comes out of it is what we'll have to see in the coming future, Siddharth.
Jessica, and Iran has been saying its right to enrich uranium is non-negotiable. Is it likely to impact the negotiations?
Well, yes, because that is what you heard from the Iranian foreign minister as well, that this is non-negotiable. Iran will continue to enrich uranium. It's said that under the JCPOA, which was signed during the Obama administration in 2015, roughly around 10% was agreed upon, but it was later found that 60% of it, uranium enrichment, was reached, and as we all know, 90% is where it would lead to weapons grade uranium enrichment. So of course, difficult terms of negotiations between both the sides. You heard from the Iranian leader, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini, who had responded in a sense where he said that he's neither optimistic nor pessimistic about the deal moving forward. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, like his previous scrapping of the deal, has said that if Iran doesn't agree to a nuclear deal, there will possibly be a military action, and of course Israel in the picture as well. So things could get a little complicated, but right now there are potential negotiations for a peaceful deal where Iran could use its uranium enriched domestically for civil energy purposes, but that is the bone of contention. In fact, if you read from the reports, the Iranian foreign minister Abbas Araghchi had also made this offer to the US companies that they could come and invest and perhaps help build their civil energy program in the country, if that is to be considered. But these are closed door discussions and highly contentious, especially given how this debate has been going on for many years, and Iran again being a signatory to the NPT, so there are a lot of expectations on the table from both sides. Siddharth.
You're right, Jessica, a lot of expectations this time around as the third round of talks between US and Iran is underway. We'll have to wait and see whether a solution could come out from this particular talk or whether it will be pushed to the fourth round, but we leave it there. Thank you so much, Jessica. On Saturday, several containers exploded at a key Iranian port, causing a major blast and fire and leaving 195 people injured. State media confirmed the massive explosion at Shahid Rajai, the country's largest commercial port, and reported that authorities are working to extinguish the fire and that evacuation efforts are underway. Located more than 1,000 kilometers south of the capital, Tehran, Shahid Rajai is Iran's most advanced container port. The Israeli army on Saturday said that a missile was launched from Yemen into Israeli territory, adding that aerial defense systems were working to intercept it. In a statement, Israeli army said sirens surrounded in a number of areas in Israel following the launch. Meanwhile, there was no immediate comment from Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis. As part of diplomatic efforts to end violence in eastern Congo, an agreement was signed between Congo and Rwanda in Washington on Friday. As per the agreement, both countries vowed to come up with a draft peace deal by May 2nd and refrain from providing military support to armed groups. The agreement was signed at a ceremony with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who also signed as a witness. The agreement is expected to bring significant U.S. public and private investment to the region, which is rich in minerals including tantalum and gold, the final text said.
Eastern part of the Democratic Republic has seen 30 years of conflict. Durable peace and long-lasting economic development is not going to be easy, but it is important. And having both of my counterparts here, of the foreign ministers of these respective countries, demonstrates the beginning of a strong commitment to having the conversations that we need to have in order to reach a resolution.
Our common aim is to conclude a comprehensive peace agreement as soon as possible. But there are no shortcuts or quick fixes, and we have to do the hard work to get it done right, once and for all. Rwanda is committed, and we are ready to continue working together with all the partners involved to ensure the success of this initiative. I thank you all.
Today marks not an end, but a beginning, a necessary step towards peace taken with resolve and purpose. This moment carries particular weight for the Democratic Republic of the Congo. In Goma, in Bukavu, and beyond, the reality of displacement, insecurity, and hardship continues. For us, the urgency of this initiative is not theoretical, it is human.
The deal raises hopes that the latest cycle of violence in a decades-long conflict might ease, with both countries hoping to attract significant U.S. investments in minerals. Both parties also agreed to look into a joint security coordination mechanism to crack down on armed groups and criminal organizations. At least 11 people were killed after a drone strike by Rapid Support Forces hit a displacement camp in Sudan's River Nile state. The RSF, which denies carrying out drone attacks, has targeted power stations in army-controlled locations in central and northern Sudan for the past several months, but the strikes had not previously left major death tolls. The escalation of such strikes, which have hampered the country's electrical grid and plunged millions into weeks-long blackouts, comes 2 years into a damaging war as the army has been pushing the paramilitary force out of central Sudan. Ground fighting in the conflict is now focused in the Darfur region, where the RSF is fighting to seize the army's remaining foothold, driving hundreds of thousands from their homes. There has also been fighting in western Omdurman, part of capital, where the RSF remains present. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un presided over a ceremony for a launch of new multi-purpose destroyer, marking a major show of indigenous military capability. The 5,000-ton warship, equipped with what officials called the most powerful weapons, was reportedly built in just over 400 days using North Korea's own technology. Dressed in 1920s attire, employees of Santiago's cable car welcome passengers to celebrate the centenary of one of Latin America's hottest tourist attractions. Over the past 100 years, the two-car funicular has transported millions of people to the top of San Cristobal Hill in the heart of Chilean capital. A Peruvian theatre troupe featuring actors with Down syndrome performed Shakespeare's Hamlet at London's Barbican Centre, showcasing their talent and challenging societal barriers and prejudices. One of the actors emphasized their achievements, saying they prove they can overcome limitations and succeed. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. PM Modi distributes over 51,000 appointment letters to youth at 15th Rojgar Mela. Indian government directs airlines to ensure passenger comfort, safety amid airspace restrictions.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says, supply creates its own demand between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj, and a quick recap of headlines. World leaders faithful bid farewell to Pope Francis as funeral service draws to a close. President Draupadi Murmu pays last respects to His Holiness. UNSC condemns Pahalgam terrorist attack, refers incident as a reprehensible act of terrorism. 3 more houses of LET terrorists demolished in 3 districts of South Kashmir. Third round of U.S. Iran nuclear talks gets underway in Oman. After White House fiasco, U.S. President Donald Trump meets his Ukrainian counterpart Zelenskyy in Rome. Washington calls meeting very productive. In a major push for India's journey towards becoming a developed nation by 2047, Prime Minister Narendra Modi distributed over 51,000 appointment letters across key ministries, marking a significant step in youth empowerment, employment generation and inclusive growth under Rojgar Mela via video conferencing. Prime Minister Modi said that the inclusivity of the Indian youth is a key factor in their development in the country, highlighting the responsibility of the youth in strengthening the country's economic system and internal security, building modern infrastructure and improving the lives of laborers.
आपके कार्य का मकसद केवल पद प्राप्त करना नहीं है। आपका पद भारत के हर नागरिक की सेवा करने और देश की प्रगति में अपना योगदान देने के लिए है। अभी कुछ दिन पहले सिविल सर्विसेज डे पर मैंने एक मंत्र दिया था और मैंने कहा था कि हम सरकार में जितने भी लोग हैं, हमारे लिए तो एक ही मंत्र सर्वोपरि होना चाहिए और वो मंत्र है नागरिक देवो भव। नागरिक देवो भव। नागरिक की सेवा ही आपके लिए, हम सब के लिए देव पूजा के समान है।
Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav and Minister of State Dr. Jitendra Singh also distributed appointment letters to newly recruited youths in New Delhi under Rojgar Mela. Lauding PM Modi's leadership, Ashwini Vaishnav said that the newly recruited youths need to work towards the development of the country.
मोदी जी ने 2014 में आने के बाद में पहले देश को एक गंभीर आर्थिक संकट से बाहर निकाला। समाज के कई क्षेत्रों में जो कमजोरियां थी उनको मजबूत किया, कई तरह के रिफॉर्म्स किए। सरकार का जो समाज के प्रति दायित्व है उसमें एक बहुत बड़ा परिवर्तन है।
India Coal and Mines Minister G. Kishan Reddy attended the 6th International Exhibition and Conference, India Steel 2025 on Saturday. During his address, the minister said that over the last few years, India's steel sector has shown tremendous growth.
Over the last few years, our steel sector has shown tremendous growth. As a result, India has evolved as the world's second largest steel producer. As the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji said, it is India's sunrise sector. The rapid growth of the steel sector must be viewed both as a cause and consequences of the expansion of domestic industries, the reason consumption, and most importantly, the strength of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
India's Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal on Friday assured a smooth Amarnath Yatra, which is set to commence on July 3rd this year, despite the Pahalgam terror attack. Minister Goyal expressed confidence that tourism in Kashmir will resume soon, emphasizing that no one can derail Kashmir from its developmental path, highlighting the region's progress and potential. Registrations for this year's Sri Amarnath Yatra began in Jammu and Kashmir on April 15. The Amarnath Yatra is set to commence on July 3rd this year, simultaneously from both routes, the Pahalgam track in Anantnag district and Baltal in Ganderbal district. It will culminate on August 9 on the occasion of Raksha Bandhan.
मुझे लगता है कि भारत के लोगों में इतना सामर्थ्य है, इतनी हिम्मत है, इतना आत्मविश्वास है कि जल्द ही फिर एक बार पर्यटन वहां शुरू होगा, उद्योग वहां जाएगा, अमरनाथ की यात्रा होगी और कश्मीर जो विकास के मार्ग पे चल पड़ा है उसको कोई रोक नहीं सकता.
Given the ongoing airspace restrictions impacting international routes, India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation has issued a detailed advisory to all Indian airlines outlining new passenger handling protocols. The move comes as airlines are focused to reroute flights, resulting in longer travel times and increased likelihood of technical stops. The DGCA has now instructed carriers to enhance pre-flight communication with passengers, particularly about route changes, revised travel durations, and possible en route halts. This communication must be delivered through emails, SMS, and onboard announcements to ensure travelers are fully informed before departure. The advisory highlights the need for transparency regarding operational stops, where passengers may have to remain on board, and urges airlines to adjust their in-flight catering based on actual expected block times. This includes ensuring an adequate supply of meals, water, dry snacks, and any special dietary requests to accommodate longer journeys. Airlines have also been directed to equip flights with sufficient medical kits and first aid resources to support extended operations. Additionally, they must coordinate with alternate or technical halt airports to ensure availability of emergency medical support and ground ambulances if needed. Defence Research and Development Laboratory, a Hyderabad-based laboratory of India's Defence Research and Development Organization, has achieved a significant milestone in the field of hypersonic weapon technology. DRDL conducted long-duration active-cooled scramjet subscale combustor ground testing for more than 1,000 seconds at the newly built state-of-the-art Scramjet Connect test facility at Hyderabad on Friday. The ground test is in continuation of the earlier test reported for 120 seconds in January 2025. With the successful test, the system will be soon ready for full-scale flight-worthy combustor testing. The 6th edition of India-Uzbekistan joint military exercise Dustlik 6 is underway at Foreign Training Node in Maharashtra's Pune. Based on the theme of joint multi-domain sub-conventional operations in semi-urban scenario, the joint drill will enable both sides to share best practices in tactics, techniques and procedures of conducting joint sub-conventional operations. Aiming to sharpen the operational capabilities of both the Indian Army and the Uzbekistan Army, the exercise will also enhance defense cooperation, further augmenting bilateral relations between the two friendly nations. The joint drill will conclude on Monday. The Animation Filmmakers Challenge is a key segment of the WAVES 2025 summit designed to spotlight and support India's next generation of creative storytellers in the field of animation. Animation filmmaker Shweta Subhash Marathe, based in Mumbai, has been recognized as one of the top 42 finalists in the Animation Filmmakers Challenge at the World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit.
Shweta Marathe, a talented animation filmmaker and design educator based from Mumbai, Maharashtra, has been announced as one of the shortlisted finalists in the Animation Filmmakers Challenge. Her animated short film, Melting Shame, delves into the profound theme of abuse and the associated stigma, aiming to resonate with teenagers and young adults.
So Melting Shame is an animated short film of 12 minutes, and it deals with the shame associated with abuse for teenagers and young adults. And the process, I mean, it's a very personal story, and right now we've finished the screenwriting drafts, and we have begun with like storyboarding it and pitching it to investors, distributors, and beginning into the production of it.
Shweta will pitch Melting Shame to potential co-producers and distributors as she believes the summit, supported by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and organized by Dancing Atoms, offers a platform for creators to showcase their work and engage with industry leaders.
I think Waves is an amazing platform for creators like me. Like, it gives us a platform to showcase our work, our projects to investors and distributors, and like it's a great way where we can connect with buyers who are actually interested in our projects, and it will help us in development of this whole industry.
This challenge represents India's growing ambition to become a global powerhouse in animation and digital storytelling.
The Waves Animation Filmmakers Competition is a transformative platform empowering Indian storytellers for fostering innovation and global recognition in animation and VFX. With camera person Swapnil, this is Shama Mishra for DD India, Mumbai.
The first ever media fest organized by the Sri Lanka-India Media Friendship Association was inaugurated at Colombo. Acting High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Dr. Satyanjal Pandey, and Sri Lanka's Minister of Mass Media and Health, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, jointly inaugurated the two-day event held under the theme Navigating the New Media Landscape Together. The festival brings together media professionals from both nations to explore trends like AI in journalism, mobile reporting, media monetization, and fact-checking. The program features keynotes, panels, and networking sessions. The event provides a unique platform for fostering collaboration between media persons on both sides. Experts in media from India and Sri Lanka will discuss and exchange best practices with the registered participants. A solemn memorial service was held on Saturday at the Embassy of India in Kathmandu, honoring the victims of tragic Pahalgam terrorist attack. Gathering in remembrance, dignitaries, officials, and members of the community paid their respects to those who lost their lives. Addressing the gathering, Nepal's Foreign Minister Dr. Arzu Rana Deoba strongly condemned the heinous attack, reaffirming Nepal's commitment to peace. She assured that Nepal stands firmly against terrorism in all its forms and vowed that Nepal will never allow its soil to be used for any terrorist activities. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. In sports, Kolkata Knight Riders are all set to face Punjab Kings at the iconic Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Spanish heavyweights Barcelona and Real Madrid to square off in the Copa del Rey final in Sevilla.
We explore various ways in which the delicate balance between urban development and environmental responsibility can be found.
We should have a target today that a minimal certain percentage of land must protected as for agricultural and horticultural purposes.
Our urban agriculture programs are designed to tackle food security and meet the nutritional needs of the poorest.
In future, caves will become more attractive as they have a direct impact on the fight against climate change.
The government is going to implement a scrapping policy designed to take all polluting vehicles off the road to reduce India's carbon footprint. So we are converting existing petrol motorcycles and scooters into electric ones.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. India is witnessing a positive trend in job growth, according to the latest World Bank report. Since the 2021-22 fiscal year, employment in the country has grown at a faster pace than the working age population. The report said that a significant aspect of this growth is the rising participation of women in the workforce. It also noted a sharp fall in urban unemployment. In the first quarter of the 2024-25 financial year, urban unemployment dropped to 6.6%, the lowest level recorded since 2017-18. Another major trend observed is the shift in the worker movement. For the first time since 2018-19, more men are migrating from rural areas to cities in search of employment. At the same time, rural women are increasingly taking up jobs in agriculture, indicating a shift in employment patterns across the country. The report also highlighted a rise in self-employment, particularly among rural workers and women. The Indian Business and Professional Council Dubai marked its 22nd anniversary in style with a grand conclave at the Taj Exotica. Gracing the occasion was former President of India, Ramnath Kovind, who lauded the Indian diaspora's role in strengthening UAE-India ties, calling it a partnership as old as the monsoon winds. The IBPC also launched its ambitious Viksit Bharat series, aiming to deepen state-level economic ties and showcased cultural brilliance through the inspiring Miracle on Wheels performance by persons with disabilities, the artists.
India and the UAE enjoy historical ties. Our bonds are as old as the moisture-laden monsoon winds. The landmark visit with our Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi, to the UAE in 2015 laid the foundation for a new partnership. The Crown Prince of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, recently visited India. It was his first official visit as Crown Prince to India. Its outcome and engagements, from political engagements to commercial undertakings, have opened meaningful opportunities for IBPC and other stakeholders.
In sports, Kolkata Knight Riders are all set to take on Punjab Kings at the iconic Eden Gardens in Kolkata on Saturday, with both teams eager to bounce back from recent setbacks. This encounter promises to be a crucial one in the race to the playoffs. This will be the second meeting between the two sides this season. Punjab defeated Kolkata in their first meeting, defending the lowest ever total of 111 runs in IPL history. KKR have just 3 wins from 8 games and are on a 2-match losing streak. A win at home is vital to keep their playoff hopes alive. PBKS, on the other hand, are placed 5th with 5 wins out of 8 games so far. With the Women's One-Day International World Cup just 5 months away, India's road to glory kicks off in Sri Lanka with a tri-series against the hosts and South Africa. The 7-match tournament promises intense action featuring new faces and old rivalries. All 7 games will be held in Colombo, with the first match between India and Sri Lanka scheduled on Sunday. India's batting looks formidable, but bowling will be tested as Renuka Singh, Sadhu and Pooja Vastrakar are sidelined with injuries. With a 6-match ODI winning streak and the return of captain Harmanpreet Kaur, India will look to fine-tune their combination ahead of the World Cup. The tournament will take place from 27th of April to 11th of May. Each team will play 2 matches against the others, and the top 2 teams will compete in the final. The Indian CEO Forum organized a cricket tournament for Indian companies in Sri Lanka. In all, 18 teams competed in the friendly tournament, which featured 6 members-a-side matches. The members of the forum also observed a minute of silence as a mark of respect while observing solidarity with the victims of the deadly attack in Pahalgam. Spanish heavyweights Barcelona and Real Madrid will square off in the Copa del Rey final in Sevilla. The current league leaders in La Liga Barcelona qualified for the Copa del Rey final after 5-4 aggregate win over Atletico Madrid in the semi-finals. However, Lewandowski, Alejandro and Marc Casado are injured and expected to miss the final. Barcelona are the most successful team in Copa del Rey history with 31 titles. Real Madrid, second on La Liga standings, head into the final after a 5-4 aggregate win against Real Sociedad in the semis. Dani Carvajal and Eder Militao will miss the final with knee injuries, while Kylian Mbappe remains doubtful after picking up a knock on his ankle. Real Madrid have won the competition 20 times. India's Avinash Sable will compete in the men's 3000-meter steeplechase race at the Xiamen Diamond League in China on Saturday. This will be Sable's first competitive race of 2025 athletics season. He competed at the Diamond League final in Brussels in September last year. Avinash Sable holds the national record in the men's 3,000-meter steeplechase event. The Xiamen leg will be the first of the 15 events which make up the 2025 Diamond League season that is scheduled to conclude in Zurich in August. Steeplechasers Avinash Sable, Jyoti Yaraji and Praveen have been included in the Indian squad for the Asian Athletics Championships starting from 27th of May in South Korea. Jyoti Yaraji will look to defend her 100-meter hurdles title. Tokyo Olympic champion Neeraj Chopra will skip the event due to his scheduled participation at the Doha Diamond League on 16th of May and the Neeraj Chopra Classic event on 24th of May. In his absence, Sachin Yadav and Yashveer Singh will represent India in the men's javelin throw. Indian athletes finished with 27 medals, including 6 gold medals at the last Asian Athletics Championships held in Bangkok in 2023. World Championships medalist Lakshya Sen and double Olympic medalist PV Sindhu will lead India's challenge at the Sudirman Cup in Xiamen city of China. India also has HS Pranoy and Anupama Upadhyay to fall back on in men's and women's singles respectively. India will compete without their premier doubles pair Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy, Chirag Shetty in men's doubles. In their absence, the onus will be on the in-form mixed doubles duo of Tanisha Krasto and Dhruv Kapila to step up and deliver the results. India will open their campaign against Denmark on Sunday. A total of 16 teams have been divided into 4 groups of 4 teams each. Each team will play 3 ties apiece in the group stage and the top 2 teams from each group will advance to the knockout stages or the quarter-finals. Uganda's Joshua Cheptegei, who is a reigning world holder in both 5,000 meter and 10,000 meter competitions, headlines this year's marathon lineup in India's southern city of Bengaluru. The world 10,000 meter race in Bengaluru is all set to kick off on Sunday. The race was first held in 2008. It is a World Athletics Gold Label race. Around 30,000 participants are expected to compete in the 17th edition. Cheptegei will return to compete in Bengaluru after 11 years, while Kenya's Cynthia leads the elite women's field. Today marks the International Chernobyl Disaster Remembrance Day. DD India's social media team has filed a special story on the significance of this day. Take a look.
It was a fateful night of April 26, 1986. The night the world changed forever. A routine safety test at Chernobyl nuclear reactor number 4 turned into the world's worst nuclear disaster. One wrong decision and the core exploded. Radioactive clouds spread across Europe. Firefighters rushed in. Unaware, they were walking into invisible death. The city of Pripyat, once inhabited by 50,000 people, was evacuated within hours. But the damage had already been done. Thousands died, generations suffered, and the land remains scared. Even today, Chernobyl stands as a chilling reminder that when humans ignore safety measures, then the consequences are catastrophic.
That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.